To be honest, I don't know how to charge this without shooting it.
And I fell.
Down. But he's dead for right now, so he's gonna leave us alone now.
Alright, well, if I kill you, it's not my fault.
I don't believe that for a minute. Oh, my armistice zone privileges are revoked. No, it looks like I got hit by my own ship when I was getting out of the seat. Another NPC. Yep, he's dead. Welcome, everybody, to State of the Verse. This is our weekly news and information program that, well, actually, this is the first week we're live. So be prepared for some bungling and some mistakes and some very embarrassing things as we get accustomed to this. But want to welcome everybody in our chat this evening, and also, as always, joined by Jay Skell and this week's guest, Mystery, a second time returning guest on State of the Verse. And welcome, guys. What's going on?
Hey, thank you.
Howdy. Just entertaining some visiting family.
That's always a good thing. Now, one thing I forgot to do is put your guys' names in the right places. So let me fix that real quick so we can see that we know which one of you is which. Right now, there we go. There's Mystery. Like I said, there's going to be some bungling here. I promise as time goes on, we will get better with this. All right. So, of course, State of the Verse, like I said, we cover all the news and information over the past week, all in one tidy format. This can usually goes about an hour and a half. And this week we have quite a few things to go over. We actually got Star Citizen Live, but we did not get any kind of Inside Star Citizen and some limited, actually no real roadmap roundup. But we do have a little bit to go over with that. And hi, Miss Bailey, I see you. Of course, we're joined by Miss Bailey and Mr. Bax. You'll probably see them in the camera back behind me. And feel free to say hello to them. And also, definitely being live, feel free to hit up our chat window. Throw some questions in there. We'll answer what we can as much as we can. And of course, always feel free to chat amongst yourselves. And I apologize ahead of time if we can't get to everybody's comments and chats. But yeah, so we're going to be trying to do this live every week now. And hopefully you'll join us and get your fill of news from the Star Citizen universe. So as always, we go over the current offers throughout the Star Citizen and RSI webpage, and really not a whole lot new this week. You still got the Anvil Liberator, and then you also got the 400i, which I would imagine that these are going to be things that are going to continue on through the use of, or up to the launch of IAE. And that is probably going to make sense since they're not going to take it away for a week or 2 weeks and then, you know, pretty much bring it back afterwards. What are you guys' thought on that? You think it's going to stick around?
Yeah, I mean, if it would be, well, it would be silly for them to like take them down and then just bring them back up at, like you said, in a couple weeks. So
Yeah. And now I would imagine that for IAE, we'll might see a change in some of the packages because, of course, the 400i has packages that includes the Citizen Con paint, which I wouldn't be too surprised if we see an IAE paint or at least some new paint options for a number of ships. But maybe even the 400i and IAE 2951 style paint that can go on that as well.
well, they could change. You know, when you say change up the packages, they could drop the LTE on like the Liberator and whatnot.
Yeah,
do the 120 month thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that. I'm pretty sure we'll see some type of change with that. So, and of course, IAE, we'll get into that later in the episode. We have a number of things to go over with that. Some interesting things with the
trailer that they put out for it that we noticed, and definitely some speculation on that, but that will come later in the show. But first, pretty much, actually, mystery. One thing I forgot, you actually have a YouTube channel yourself. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about it?
Yeah, okay. So I try to do weekly uploads, but time doesn't always allow me to do that. But what I do is I do dives into the financial aspect of MLMs and various scams to determine A, how much you can honestly expect to make, and B, how much you're going to have to spend in order to make a little bit, and just to get an overall feel if this is something that you really want to do, with an emphasis on don't do it. I also have another part of the channel that does financial liberation to a point where if you're living paycheck to paycheck, little tips and tricks that you can do from week to week to try to get yourself to where you can get some saved up capital so you can get away from living paycheck to paycheck, and general things of that nature. A
Huh,
lot of lessons learned the hard way.
interesting. And definitely check that out. We'll have the web address at the end of the episode in the credits, and also when we post this to YouTube, we'll have a link to his channel in the in the description, and check that out and show him some support and go over there and check it out. Actually, I've caught a number of videos over there, and definitely some very interesting information for sure. So, especially if you're into the whole financial side of things, scams and all that. One thing, and I can't recall if I've seen it on there. Have you done anything in regards to the like the pump and dumps with crypto and all that yet?
No, I haven't. I'm getting ready to cover. Actually, I'm building a video for. I think it's IA Academy. They do a lot of currency stuff like that, and they're kind of moving more towards that. So I haven't done a whole lot, but I'm really kind of curious because I don't. And this is just me being a little ignorant. I don't 100% understand the majority of the crypto. Last time I checked, it was Bitcoin and a few others. Now there's a whole bunch of things and NFTs and everything else. So I'm like, okay, I need to sit back and do some studying on this.
You know, honestly, I can't even make sense of Bitcoin as it is. I'm not even going to try the NFTs and all the other things. Obviously, there's numerous coins that get launched and supported by influencers and all that out there that just turn into nightmare scams. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's it just I'll put my money in my 401k. That's the safest place for it outside of crypto. I won't touch that.
Yeah, and
So
with Facebook changing to Meta and to the metaverse, there's supposed to be stuff about cryptocurrency with all of that, or rumored to. So
yeah,
a whole bunch of stuff going on.
I'm going to be avoiding that for sure.
Right?
So, so getting into what's going on this week, of course, we got PTU 315. It's now open to all backers. And one thing with it being open to all backers is definitely a variety of different items that we're seeing out there. The patch notes are available out on the RSI site, and definitely the patch notes for the open to all was actually pretty short. There wasn't a whole lot of information in there. A lot of stuff that's been going on since they launched it to even wave one. Of course, we have the one thing is they put a fix out for the fix of the server crash ship recovery that was having some issues, and supposedly the fix for that today took care of that. But still having some issues going on. But the testing focus really is that server crash ship recovery, as well as the medical gameplay, the A2, the 400i, of course. And the nice thing that through the PTU, we've seen a number of improvements made to the 400i. Of course, it still won't hold anything outside of the standard size Cyclone, but they have increased the in atmosphere speed and some of the handling. They are focusing on bombs, the infiltrate and defend missions, the looting system, as well as the new inventory system, as well as some issues with Arena Commander that they've revamped some of the maps there, and of course the updates to Orison. Now, as I mentioned, some of the known issues going on have been there for a while, and the list is small now. So realistically, I would not imagine it's anything that's really going to postpone going to live for long, if at all. Of course, they got the ground vehicle spawn issue, or if you pick ArcCorp or Orison, you're going to lose access to those ground vehicles, and that's definitely going to be a concern there. Uh, New Babbage train. there's still buildings in the middle of the road. So those are actually still populating out into the shuttle pathway, which is a very interesting bug. And as you fly through a building, and that that's been there since the day it launched to wave one. They got an issue with the medical beacons. They're not completing and paying people. So if you go rescue somebody, you're not necessarily going to get that money for rescuing them. Of course, recently they increased it from the 10,000 up to the 15,000 payoff for that, and now you're not even getting that because of the bug with it that it's not paying you out or even going through to show complete. It'll just stay as an active mission in your Glass. They're having some issues with the FPS mining, hand mining going down. The deposits are missing their collision, causing them not to be collected and not getting credit for them. And everybody knows, and this one I know a number of us have ran into this, the repair and refuel issue. Right now, Everest is definitely affected. And of course, all the surface side, moon and planet substations are all affected. Right now, realistically, the only other places you can get fuel or repair and refuel, yeah, the same thing, is going to be the main cities and then the main stations outside of everywhere but Lorville. So it's been a little detrimental.
Well, I think what I found was, and I haven't had a chance to try the Q patch yet, but it seemed to be all of the major space stations above the planets, because like the rest stops I was able to get, like the Lagrange point ones, I was
Mm-hmm.
able to get it refueled and whatnot.
Yeah, and I saw one post in Spectrum on the repair and refuel that said that other main stations outside cities were doing it, but me personally, I was able to do it at Bygenie the other night, but I haven't gotten in since the patch released to open backers since last night. I wasn't on it all today. So, and I had no issue last night, so it could be a random thing or it could just be a new issue since I was last on. So, of course, they've also got inventory issues. You're not getting your undersuit or your helmet when you wake up in a hospital. So, pretty much you're naked. Oh, and Potato makes a good point that the FPS mining is affecting the rock mining too. And Potato is with Amarok's Fang. He's a large surface hand and rock miner. So, definitely I'll take his word for it that there's issues with that since I haven't tried it myself. So, that issue seems to affect that as well. And then waking up naked with no inventory or undersuit or helmet can definitely be detrimental, especially if you don't have anything there. You got to run around try and get something. And other than that, there's been a few other things I've heard here and there, but nothing that's been able to be confirmed. What other kinds of issues are you guys running into?
Well, like I said, I haven't played this latest patch just because I haven't had a chance to. But prior patches, it seemed like something different was happening every time they dropped a new patch. I had an issue where I would spawn a Pisces, a C8X at New Babbage, and it would just fall through the hangar floor, like every time. Not all ships did it, but just apparently the Pisces. Then just it seemed like I was discussing this in SE testing chat the other day. I'm not the only one. It seems like the game's kind of stacked against you if you're trying to run the reputation. Uh, what do you call it? Building reputation for the delivery box missions. Have yet to reach the top level because something always happens that breaks the mission. Whether it's you slip and fall on steps and die, or it's just random stuff. I've gotten close, but and somebody else we were commiserating that it just you can't complete the damn mission, so you can't gain the rep, so we can't see what happens when you get to two
Yeah.
at the top level.
That'd be
But
frustrating.
no, I mean, and there's just random stuff with desync. There's random stuff with the inventory. Sometimes it's everything's fine, and then the next time you go to use it, you're trying to move stuff and it disappears, and then 20 minutes later it reappears.
Yeah.
And the medical, I was hoping that they would do more with the healing. My experience with trying to heal people is, yeah, I haven't been able to really scan and do like the look at the injuries and try to test out the different drugs to see how well they compensate for certain injuries. It's pretty
Hmm.
much you just zap somebody until they're back on their feet, and then they go to a medical bed and they get the rest of the healing they are.
Yeah. I've been
Um,
having the problem. I can't even get my gun to work half the time.
Oh yeah, you have to be like real close. Like you almost have to be touching them with the gun if you want to zap them.
I was gonna say I'd be standing right over somebody, pull the trigger, and it just won't do anything. So I'll probably have to try crouching down to get even closer.
And Bright asked if i- who pays the medical beacons. I couldn't tell you because every medical beacon I've run, it either I couldn't get to the person because the body clipped into the planet,
Yep.
or they're at a bunker mission where they treat me as a hostile, so I couldn't get close enough to heal them.
Right.
So
And in my experience, and I've never had one completed on me, and there's not really a whole lot of information on it out there, but I would assume that one, it gives you the option to put the medical beacon out there offering, the 15,000 for it. I'm assuming that that means you're paying it. If you're putting the beacon out, you're going to pay it because it gives you that option to send it or not.
yeah, I haven't put one out, and I haven't talked to anybody who's actually successfully had one, so I couldn't. I wasn't sure what they were doing with the PTU. You know how sometimes for testing they do something a little bit different just to make it easier for people to use it.
Yeah, and a couple times I've had it, we 30K before anybody got to me, so it was a sad situation. So some
Yeah.
of the other things that we're seeing in chat, Potato and thinks this might be a rare thing, but a 30K after doing a bed log caused him to get the infinite load screen. Of course, the infinite load screen is something that has been consistent for the last few patches. So usually the fix for that, and I still find that with the infinite load screen here on 315 PTUs, go to an arena commander, get into a multiplayer Pirate Swarm match, exit out once you get into the match, and then it'll load you back in. But that's been definitely going on for a while, and it comes and goes for different situations and reasons. Mandalorian is saying bounties are completing for him today in the PTU, but server seems stable the last couple days. He hadn't had any 30Ks in the last couple days, which is always good to hear. And even I noticed the when I have been on, the 30Ks have definitely diminished. So I think that hot fix they did last week definitely did do some help to keep it from crashing.
Oh yeah, and I also noticed. Well, it seems to be I experience fewer of the missing elevators.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am seeing I assume it's the hospital elevator that shows up underneath when you're going down to the train station in New Babbage.
Yep.
You're running, and all of a sudden there's a wall in front of you that you can run through.
Yeah.
I've experienced that a lot more, but
Yeah. I had
missing
that on
elevators up there.
Orison.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
I
haven't really.
actually, oh, go ahead, Mystery.
I was going to say I haven't really got to do a whole lot in the PTU since I just got it installed and uploaded today. I did have a situation where I got disconnected, and then the old fear was there because I had a full C2 of cargo. I was like, well, there goes all that. And when I came back and reconnected, actually, it was nice to be able to still be in my ship, have my stuff outside of the major city. So I'm glad they're doing that.
Yeah, and definitely there's two different situations there, and one is the actual 30K, which the 30K persistence is supposed to resolve. You'll wake up at your station, can go, and your ship will be back at the station with everything in it. And of course, if you're out flying and you crash the desktop, you lose internet or something like that, then you do have the opportunity to get in and start right back where you left off, which is definitely a nice thing to have. As
Yeah,
long as you're not
definitely.
barreling full speed at the planet's surface while trying to land, you should be fine. Accidents
Yeah.
can still happen while you're away, but we found that out the hard way on a stream when I took out the entire stream crew of Amarok's Fang because I crashed the desktop while heading into the hangar at Lorville at full speed. Or no, it was New Baggage at full speed.
Oh,
And
those
I,
are
I,
fine.
I listened to the cries of death while I was trying to log back in. It was very interesting because nobody could get me out of the seat to take over control of the ship.
It'd be nice if Copilot then, if you disconnect, if the Copilot could take control.
Yeah, I wish there was a function for the Copilot to take control because that would also allow for easier swapping back and forth. If who's piloting wants to get out, get in a shuttlecraft, go do something else, the Copilot doesn't even have to leave the seat to be able to take control. But I don't think that's a feature that I've heard them talking about or plan on putting in, but it would be something nice to see.
Yeah.
So, and of course, Bright saying that he's seen an issue with prison not able to take your minables from your inventory. That's actually been on every patch notes up until this one, I believe. I did not see it on this latest patch notes, but that's been coming and going since 313. And last I knew, yeah, it was definitely an issue that it just won't take any of your minables. Your best bet is to try and run those O2 missions when they're available, because half the time you can get them, half the time they don't even show up. So, but that's one of those issues that's been going on for a long time, back and forth. But other than that, I mean, the overall list of known issues is getting shorter as we get closer to going live. And of course, the feature updates that they're looking at with this new patch that came out with all backers is the FPS and ship combat polish that they did, really making it so AI opens fire on you at a longer distance, and the hit prediction performance improves and is a little bit more accurate there. And of course, one thing that I will be happy to see, corpse life limits. Uh, I know a few people in the org had been walking around the station. They just happened to stumble around into a mass of 15 to 20 naked bodies. Uh, I think people have made this a game that they wanted to see how many bodies could they actually pile up in a station or something by suicide. Because, of course, if you suicide in a station, you don't lose any of your gear. And if they're already naked, then, they're not even worried about gear. But I think I stumbled into just a huge pile when we were playing the other night off stream. And I think Mando or Potato, I think it was, walked into an area that was just a mass of, well, I mean, armor with no bodies, backpacks and stuff like that around Grim Hex. Well, what they've done now is they've limited that to 3 corpses per player. So if you go in to see how many bodies you can leave laying around, you're only going to be able to leave 3, and then the next time you come in, one of them will disappear, and so on and so forth from each instance of respawning after that. So yeah, definitely makes you think of just playing the song Bodies by Drowning Pool in the background as you're running around the station.
Yeah.
So, but we have some major bug fixes with the PTU as well too. Of course, they fixed some of the mouse VJoy types having the correct movement now. I did see some of this actually in the Spectrum having to do with people questioning about the turning speed of people that use sticks versus those that use mouse. There's still some complaints after this improvement, and they basically stated that it's been improved, but also some of the description of what doing the correct movements is kind of a little bit misleading. So I think they're still working on that issue with the mouse rate of speed turning in your ships and everything. But they did fix the AI in station clinics, and that means the doctors and nurses and staff there should be all walking around, which, I mean, we're used to seeing NPCs T-posing, standing on chairs. It's really kind of gotten to be the norm. And of course, seeing them walk around is going to be a nice change of pace.
That's a little extra to the immersion of the whole thing.
Yeah, people are actually living and alive. Go figure.
Instead of just huddled outside of a store.
Yep. So that brings us into the medical gameplay. And the medical gameplay, they put out the Alpha 315 hospitals and healing. And this was basically a text go through of the different things that they covered on Star Citizen Live, as well as the Inside Star Citizen, and all the information they put out. It gives a nice rundown of all the different stuff, the tools that you use, the different drugs that you use. It also goes into all the different medical tiers, being that your Cutlass Red is now a tier 3 ambulance service, so you don't have that respawn capability there. Basically, it's going to be to get you to a state where you can get yourself to a hospital along the same lines as the medical guns and med pens and such. Then, of course, tier 2 is going to be the limited hospital service. That's going to be on your Carrack, your 890, but those can actually be used as respawn points, as well as the hospitals at Lagrange stations or major stations. And then your tier 1, which is the hospitals. And that's going to be the city-based hospitals. Of course, we've got Orison, New Babbage right now.
and we're also got Grim Hex. And then as we go along, we're going to see Saint Maria, I think it's called, for Lorville, and of course we'll see the one for ArcCorp come in at some point as well too, and that's further down the line. I think 317 and 318, I believe.
Yeah, you'd say that just as I wasn't looking.
So
316 is Area 18, 317 is Lorville.
okay, so there we go. I had it just one off there. And this is definitely some interesting information if you didn't catch those Inside Star Citizen or the Star Citizen Live. It really gives you kind of a walkthrough on how everything does. I actually checked it to see if there was a reason why I couldn't heal anybody. It gave me no information as to why it wasn't working other than the fact that I have to assume it's a bug. But how have you guys been handling with the healing in the hospital gameplay?
Uh, I've managed to test out the death and waking up in a hospital, and I thought it was actually kind of cool because there was actual NPCs there that seemed like, you're waking up from surgery, and there's actual medical people there to say hello.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's working. I think it's definitely kind of rough right now. Kind of we were talking about a little bit earlier with the depth. So they go into all these descriptions around different like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 injuries, um, and the advanced mode on the medical gun. They don't seem to align, I guess. I haven't experienced anybody who's injured and walking around with a limp that you could just you know help them with a specific set of drugs. You just zap them once and they're good to go until they can get to a medical bed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's a great start. I just wish it was a little bit more in depth than it is right now, but we'll get there.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be down the line, and I think we got our hands full just getting this starting part down uh, correctly so that we know what's going on with it as of right now. Dead Sky, thank you very much for the host. Appreciate that.
I'll say the highlight of the medical gameplay right now, I think for most of us, is the intoxication.
Yeah, we
Just
do have fun with that.
I mean, I've seen a lot of videos now where people are enjoying it, trying to get into their ships and fly and whatnot. It's pretty funny.
Trying to escape caves that they got inadvertently drugged because they got phased into a rock.
I think you need to pick your friends better.
I still have nightmares about that. If anybody's interested in that, head over to the YouTube. There's a video about my daring escape from the depths of a cave because I phased into a rock. Definitely, we saw some issues though early on with the med gameplay as far as the ability to grief and drug people, you know, at stations and all that. But we at least saw the fix with that, and they've made it to where you can drug yourself, but you can't drug your buddies or random people throughout the server. And that I think has definitely been a huge improvement with people wanting to get in and play the game because they now don't have to deal with that. I did see one posting today where there was a glitch on a Grim Hex elevator that for some reason in one portion of the elevator it would allow somebody to do it. So why there was this one little bubble that would allow people to do it, I don't know. But if you're going out to Grim Hex and this thing is accurate, careful on the elevators. If there's somebody else in the elevator with you, stand on the other side. So, but yeah, apparently there's a little bug going on with that. So it'll be interesting to see if that gets more attention or if it becomes an issue.
I'm glad they did address that though, because I watched your stream when you were doing the medical gameplay initially, and people were just tagging everybody in Grim
Oh,
Hacks.
I mean,
And
between me and Yeti trying to get Mando out of an area where there was just somebody constantly just drugging him over and over and over again. And then they got me, and then Yeti was trying to distract them. And by the time I got back up there and pulled my gun, when I pulled my med gun out, they finally ran away. And by that time, two other people from the server had come over to try and help, and it was just a mess. And it's infuriating. I mean, because it really does make it a pain to play the game when people are doing that, and they do it for one reason. And whatever they say that reason is, I mean, honestly, it's not really that reason. It's to be a pain in the ass. And I think people, I mean, no matter what game you're in, you're going to have people that kind of get off on that.
Oh yeah.
So overall, as far as 315 goes, though, we know that we already know the dates for IAE. We know that that's going to be 315.1. So we get 315 now. We got 3 weeks to IAE. I'm anticipating that we're probably going to see this go live probably anytime Monday or after. I would not be shocked if we see it go live Monday or shortly thereafter, and then we have a week or less before they push it to live so that they can have it for a couple weeks before IAE. But I think as soon as it does go live, I think you're going to see 315.1 either, because as far as I'm aware, Evocity is not running it yet. It's going to go straight to Evocity or it'll go straight to Wave 1, which they've done before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Invictus? It was Fleet Week, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did it with Fleet Week, and I think they did it with IAE last year too. It was a really, really fast turnaround. And actually, I remember 310 was the same way too. 310 came in, and as soon as 310 launched, 310.1 was already in PTU. Gravity says patch felt rush. I got to disagree with that. Gravity. Patches. Actually, this one's about the standard length because usually you see it go Evocity. After Evocity, you'll see it for probably a couple of weeks in Wave 1. And then they'll open it up to Wave 2 and all backers, and that will usually be a week to 2 weeks, and then they throw it to live. So I wouldn't so much say that this one's been rushed, but the next one definitely will be. But the only thing that they're really changing is they're activating something that they've already built out twice before, and that's the Tobin Expo Hall. So, and that's the nice thing with it being out that way, which we'll definitely talk about when we come up to IAE. But yeah, I think the fact that they're doing it in a known spot and one that they've done multiple times before, that's going to help make it go smoother. All right, so we had no roadmap roundup this week, and of course they do that on a bi-weekly basis, and that is pretty normal at this point. But what we do have, and this is actually put out by made by Odysseus 1992, and it's designed by Snakem. This is actually something that gets posted to Reddit on a periodic basis, and this is basically a quick, easy look at the roadmap. Nice visual layout. Actually, this is extremely well done and easy to find the things that you're looking for. So with 315, as you can see here, it's going to basically take care of the Grim Hex, the rest stops, Orson, New Babbage Hospital, all the things that we've been talking about. Knickknacks and loot generation, the bombs, the A2, the 400i, and of course all the medical tools. Of course, if you look further down, we got 315X, which is going to be the IAE. The only thing really slated for that is the Redeemer, the Starfighter, and the guns for the Ares ships there. So really not a whole lot more they're putting in other than reactivating that expo hall. 316 though, as J-Scale said, we got Area 18 Hospital. Shops and patrons got moved over to 316 from 315. The one thing on 316 I'm really looking forward to is the player slide. I really hope they don't push that back because I think that's going to be fun to have for the FPS missions. And
100%.
oh yeah, I mean that's the one thing that really feels like it's missing so far is that slide capability. I use that all the time in games that have it. Usually when I'm running away, trying not to get killed. Of course, they got the prone tech, actor tech, physicalized weapon handling, salvage tier 0, which I know salvage has been pushed back a couple times here. It's been supposed to be started, stopped, started, stopped. Tier 0 is going to be like your cutting tool. It's not going to involve things like the vulture or the reclaimer yet. But the Hull C is coming out in 316, as well as those laser trip mines that we're going to find a way to have a lot of fun with, and a few other things there. But definitely, if you aren't on Reddit and have a chance to check this out, definitely recommend heading over to the Star Citizen subreddit where this gets posted. And a lot of kudos. I don't know them, but if they ever catch the show, a lot of kudos to Odysseus 1992 and Snake'em for designing this format because it really does make everything very easy to look at and find. What would you guys say the one thing that you're looking forward to as far as the roadmap that's on there now?
See, I really want salvage tech, and I'm kind of sad that it's just going to be handheld.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I was really hoping they'd bring at least the Vulture out and allow you to have that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Vulture isn't slated until a little bit later on, but even just to be able to use the claws on the reclaimer would be nice, even if it's
Yeah,
just to play
exactly.
checkers, even if you can't tear a ship apart yet. So, and Cryogenic says he can't wait for the slide as well. And hacking tech, yeah, hacking tech is one that people are definitely waiting for. Poe, Hull C. I actually traded my Hull D for the Hull C because the Hull D is just way overkill on the cargo amount, and Hull C I'll actually get more use out of.
Get to feel like a real space trucker with the whole sea.
Yeah, and even the Hull C still has a way humongous amount of ability to haul things. I mean, it's still way overkill for just having Stanton.
Agreed. Yeah. How are we going to be able to drop off the stuff? Because those ships are not meant to go into atmosphere, right?
The whole A, whole B can definitely go into atmosphere and land loaded. The whole C and above, I think, have to dock with the station.
So we'll just be selling it like Bagini or Tressler.
Yep. Yeah, or
Okay.
Lagrange points, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, you'll be able to, as long as they get the docking collars all working correctly, and that's all going good, there should be a docking port that you can dock to, and you'll be able to offload at those areas. So it'll definitely be interesting to see.
Well, and it's not on the progress tractor, but the cargo refactor. I really want to. I want that.
That's what worries me is that it's not on the tracking, either release view or progress tracker. And we know that they've been talking about it a lot, and I'm sure there's multiple different parts of things that are on the roadmap that play into that, but I'd like it to see it as a listed item because I think that's going to make a huge change in the cargo hauling. Obviously, it's going to play into reputation and all that. It's going to be just like medical and inventory. It's going to be a huge game changer.
Well, yeah, and something that is on the release view, and I hope it stays where it's at, is the Hangar Manager app and the persistent hangars, because that's going to be a piece of that cargo refactor, right?
Yeah, and
So
those are both in
Mhm.
317.
yeah, because they were talking about how we're going to have to, we'll be in our own private hangar. We'll have to hand load and unload our ships. That won't
Yep.
account for like the whole C, whole D, all that
Yeah.
stuff. But
Which I hope that once they get to that point, they get the tractor beam working for the ships like the Caterpillar and all that to help, ease that pain of I mean, if you're loading 572 SCU into a Caterpillar or 527, whichever it is, you're not going to do that by hand easily. You're either going to need the entire org there to help you out, or you're going to have to have a working tractor beam or have an entire day to run back and forth.
Right.
Yeah.
well, there is that two-handed tractor beam that that appeared for a bit in the PTU that wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, that's very true. We know from if you caught last week's episode on YouTube there's a two-handed tractor beam that got put into the loot boxes throughout the verse that was not supposed to end up there somehow. And people got it. And the only thing is it didn't work. It wasn't set up to work, but it was an item that some people actually stumbled upon. So that's how we found out about that. Potato says an Argo forklift. Yeah, I mean that or some type of a forklift. I mean, having utility vehicles like that, if they're going to have you load things on your own, could only be helpful. Poe says the tractor beam on the 315 and Taurus are two of the things that he's looking forward to. And I think definitely if you got a couple of people, you could use that tractor beam on the 315 to help load a Caterpillar or something. It's small enough to be able to maneuver to put things into the side doors on a cat. So,
Or if they put things on like during the Xeno threat where the little resource modules were inside of a frame, if you
hmm
could just tractor beam the frame off and pull it all off would be nice too.
yeah. And of course, when you get up into, the larger ships like the whole D, whole E, oh my God, I can't imagine what it would be like to load a whole E with almost 100,000 SCU of space if you had to do that by hand.
You're hiring
No
those dock
thanks.
workers.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah. So 315 I would say has been fairly smooth though. It really has not been too much of a burden. We know that things always run a little worse when live and PT is running at the same time. And I think after they fixed a few issues in the first couple of patches, that really did help take care of things and smooth things out. So overall, I would say that I could honestly see this going live as early as Monday or very shortly after. I mean, what's your guys' thoughts?
I kind of don't want it to go live on Monday because I just got into it, but it wouldn't. It'd be nice though.
Yeah, you still got to get accustomed to the whole inventory thing and flying away, realizing you just left everything behind, huh?
Yeah, I got really frustrated this morning when I was looking at my inventory trying to equip armor, and I went into F1 and the Moby Glass, and your little person wasn't there, and I was like, oh wait, no, this is all different now.
Oh
Gotta go
yeah.
into my inventory.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Well,
mean, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and when it goes live, we've got the wipe, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, the wipe is going to be coming. Of course, you'll have all your subscriber concierge flare and all of that. Post thinking Thursday, possibly live. But I think one, and actually in regards to the wipe, I did the video on the cargo being fixed. But in the last day or so, I've actually been getting comments on that video of people saying, oh no, it's back down to taking the entire day to sell 50 SEU of stuff. The wipe, the downfall with that is they fixed it at a time when everybody still had buku bucks. Everybody had millions. Everybody has no shortage of money whatsoever, so they can just go and constantly buy out everything. I think the wipe is going to be the determining factor whether that fix is a good temporary long range fix until the cargo refactor gets done, because once the wipe happens, people aren't going to have the millions that they have now to buy out everything. Everybody's going to be back to having to start out small. So I think that should help with the cargo fix that they did on 314 and getting it back to a moderate pace. But that is one thing that has been reported with the live, is that the cargo is starting to get a little funky now, and probably because of the unlimited resources people have for money. But,
yeah.
but the wipe, I think, is going to be a blessing in disguise. I think it's a good thing, but I think for those that aren't quite happy with it, I think you'll find that it is a blessing in disguise because it's going to help normalize things and get things back to the way that was intended to be, instead of everybody being multimillionaires. So of course we'll see that wipe with 315, and everybody will be reset to their base AUEC that they have with their packages. Of course, if you have referral credits or you have multiple packages, you'll get that additional AUEC. And I haven't heard anything on it, but they did talk about the people that played Xenothreat will get a post wipe bump in AUEC depending on how much they played it. But there's been no confirmation since the initial mention of it as to whether they're going to go through with that or how much or how they're going to determine the amounts for people. So it'll be interesting if they come through with that. It'd be nice if they keep their word on that one. So Potato says a lot of sub flare is going to be sitting in inventory until they get that fixed. Yeah, sub flare, concierge flare. I mean, honestly, it's not gone. You just lose the ability to wear it. And granted, you can always get it back with a character reset or something like that, which is a pain. And I think a lot of people are going to be using the character reset for that. But honestly, if I lose it, I'll wear something else until the next reset. And because we know the next reset's only a couple of weeks away after that. And I'll get it back when I get it back, and eventually they will have a way for you to get it back in game without having to wait for the reset. So I think the loss of the sub flare, it's not a permanent loss, so it's really not anything that I'm going to be that upset about. So all right, well, that's pretty much it for 315. But one thing we did have this week was a Galactopedia update, and I am not a lore guru, but J-Scale is our Emerald's Fang lore guru here, and I will let him tell you guys all about that update.
I don't know if lore guru is really the right statement, but whatever. Yeah, they did I'll say no ISC. There was no roadmap update, all that stuff. So really, what we got was just an update to the Galactopedia. I haven't had a chance to like dig through all of it, but I think it's interesting for especially for people that want to do mining. They've added some updates to descriptions around like the Icarus cluster, Daedalus cluster. Those are some mining areas. They added some updates to Drake, Torpedo Burrito, some fun things like that in here. Not anything that was like too crazy that I was like, oh, well, this is neat. But like I said, I haven't had a chance to get through all of it yet. But I don't know. It's helpful to know some of the stuff. I think when we're trying to play the game or trying to figure some stuff out, and I think later on when we're trying to solve some of those missions or puzzles that they've been talking about tying to some of the reputation, that I think knowing some of this stuff is going to be helpful.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And one thing I will say is they do a good job at tying the lore into different things throughout the game because obviously it. Oh, thank you very much, there, Potato. I appreciate that. It wasn't until over a year after I started playing the game I didn't know that all that lore actually tied into a gameplay loop in game with the finding Benny Hench, the things that you can find around Grim Hex and other areas that will lead you over to Benny Hench. There's a clue on SPK, the data pad that's on the second floor there. And then, of course, you got the artist hab at Grim Hex has clues in it as well, too. And there's actually a gameplay loop you can follow that all ties into the lore. And they do a really good job of that, of incorporating all that, much like you see with the Hill Horror Mask and the things recently with Neville Lott, is it?
Yep.
So
he was the one who created the mask.
Yeah,
helmet.
and actually, I never knew that until you brought it up as part of the Galactopedia update last week. It was.
Yep.
So I mean, there's a lot of interesting things in there. So definitely, it's worth if you enjoy those backstories and all that. Check it out, read up on it. You can also find the Galactopedia on the RSI site, so you can go back and check past posts. And definitely for people that enjoy all that, it's worth a read. One thing I did forget to mention about the offers. Don't forget, this is the last day, or actually Monday until 4 p.m. Eastern time to get your ghoulish green paint. I did forget to mention that. So make sure if you want that green paint for the Drake ships, get in there, get it now, because once it's gone, then you're not going to be able to find it until probably this time again next year, and no guarantee that it's going to be there. Or you're going to have to get it off the gray market. But definitely last week to get that, as well as the Day of Vara specials. That's going to be your Fieldsbury Bear helmet. It's going to be your last day and a half, 2 days to get your Hill Horror helmet. Go out to Jumptown to do that, or be able to get in and get the Drake Caterpillar. Because remember, with the Caterpillar, it is going up in price once they launch IAE. So currently, right now, you can still get it at that $295 US price before they raise it. As of right now, no word on how much it's going to raise. So get it while you can at the lower cost, or at least get your CCU now. If you buy a CCU, you don't have to apply it. You can just hold on to it until you're ready to apply it, and you can get it at the lower cost, because come IAE, that CCU is going to be that much more. So that brings us to Star Citizen Live. And I have a clip here, and I'm not even going to say anything about it because
Italian Spider-Man. Pronto.
Italian Spider-Man. Italian Spider-Man. Italian Spider-Man. Italian Spider-Man.
Azione, velocità, terrore, suspenso. Spider, 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 spider. Spider, spider. Spider!
Hey everybody, welcome to
wow. Okay. Yeah.
That was the best part of that video too.
It was, and I actually watched the entire video, and I got to see it a second time at the end, so that made me feel that much better. I mean, the man can rock a porn stash, so that's all I
Well,
gotta say.
I told you, I told somebody if you follow him on Twitter, his personal account, he had put up a picture showing that he had shaved his beard but left the mustache, and wasn't really happy with the look. But he said he would keep it, and he did a poll, and that was the result of the poll.
Yeah, so potato, what the actual F? Yeah, that was my initial reaction to it as well too. But he had made it known he wasn't going to do Count Disco. He wasn't going to do Count Disco this year. He did mention that. He did ask people if they thought he should do something with the mustache, and apparently the answer was yes. Of course, anybody that's caught it on previous years, everybody knows Jared's alter ego, Disco Lando. And during the Halloween, he usually dresses up as a vampire version of that, which is Count Disco. So this year we got Italian Spider-Man. So aside from that, the Star Citizen Live was really, I felt it was just a rehash of a CitizenCon panel. We went in, we saw the design and kind of way they go about doing different things for the different areas. I didn't really see much of any new information.
He he just went a little bit deeper in talking about like the trash pile in the corner, how each one of the trash bags was an individual or a cluster of items, and how they had all these, they were creating a mess for themselves with 10,000 objects in just a corner over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hard to watch because this isn't my thing.
Yeah, it's
But
not my forte either.
I assume if you're nerding out on doing this kind of design work, then good for you. But
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
it was
mean
hard to
anybody
watch.
that's into that design and construction is gonna probably be drooling over this. But it's nice that they do these kinds of things because everybody does have different interests. Some of us are into this, some of us aren't, and at least they put stuff out there for the people that are into it, and for those that do this, I'm sure there's a lot of useful information there. There just wasn't a whole lot that I personally took out of it, but it's nice to see the variety and the variety of things that they put out there. It's not the same thing every week.
Yeah,
So
plus they're getting things geared up for IAE and stuff like that too. So
yeah, and of course it's been what 2 weeks now since we've seen an Inside Star Citizen. So I would imagine that we'll probably get one before IAE, if that, and then we'll probably see, just like we did before CitizenCon, kind of a slowdown of information until we get up to IAE, which I can understand that.
I
yeah,
thought Jared said in this SC Live that the next one it's next week or the week after, and they were going to cover the mines. I think. Those
Yeah,
are
yeah. So I think we'll get one more before IAE, maybe two if we're
yeah.
lucky. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're into the design and construction of the in-game environments, definitely check this out. About an hour long. You can get 2 doses of Italian Spider-Man and have your fill of that until next year at Halloween again. And yeah, enjoy that. I think the Italian Spider-Man just kind of like blew my mind to the point where I was like brain dead for the first 10 minutes.
yeah, I
So
wasn't ready for it.
no, I remember when it released, Jscale just put a message in the Discord as to what the hell was that. He wouldn't even tell me what it was either. I was like, what happened? I'm at work. He wouldn't even tell me what it was, just that I had to watch it for myself.
I couldn't describe it.
Yeah, there is no description for
I didn't
that.
want to spoil the surprise.
It almost seems like a B-level Ron Jeremy. So, but that brings us to, of course, the IAE, and this is the big news for the week. As we mentioned before, they did release the dates, and it's going to be November 19th through December 1st. And it is going to be held out at Microtech. And as far as the information for that, it's all out there in a video as well as the website. And I have to give them credit. The trailer was absolutely amazing. I love that trailer. And we're actually going to show the trailer now for you.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back to Microtech. Oh, not good, not good! Here we go!
So yes, this was the trail. I was pumped when I saw this, especially finding out it was out on Microtech, which was a surprise at first, but I kind of can understand it because again, it's already built. They know it works. It's already built, and I don't recall seeing really an area out on Orison that would accommodate an expo hall.
They have
Yeah,
plenty of
they'd
extra.
have to.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say they'd have to bring in a whole new spot for it. I think. I mean, I think they have a spot where you could enter into an expo center, but I don't know if it's fleshed out.
Yeah,
Right,
I was gonna say they've got extra platforms all over the place over there. They can jam it wherever they want.
right. And I think the other problem you have is the flight time in and out. I mean, that right now that's a detriment to keep people from going to Orison right now. People don't want to deal with the lengthy amount of time it takes to fly in or fly out.
That
That's
and
me.
in the PU, the frame rate issue there is pretty severe. Whereas in the PTU, it feels like the few times I visited, feels like it was a little bit better.
It is better in the PTU because I've actually doing some recording the last couple nights. I used it as a spawn point, and I did not really have any lag there. Now I had the shuttle doors kill me a couple times, but I didn't have any FPS issues or well, frame rate issues or lag. It ran extremely smooth, but it's like set your limiter and cruise control, and I went and took the dogs for a walk, came back, and I was still flying out of atmosphere. It's and that's in an M50. It just takes forever. And I think that would definitely be a deterrent to get new players, especially people who are just getting in for the first time, to really come down there to see the expo. I think New Babbage was probably the best choice for them. It made their lives easier to use an already existing hull. It kept people from having to deal with the lag and frame rate issue of Orison, because right now they don't know if that's going to the smoothness that it has in PTU. They don't know if that's going to carry over to live yet. And
Fingers crossed.
I think it's, cover your backside and make sure you do everything you can to make sure their biggest event of the year goes as smooth as possible. Potato, doesn't Area 18 have an expo hall? Yes, it does. Area 18 was the location for the 2949 expo, and it's as you're coming out of Arcourt Plaza down the big steps and you go right to catch the tram, it's over to the left. So yes, that does have one, though I would say definitely the one on New Babbage is a lot nicer. It's actually a lot nicer looking, a lot better layout, and I think it's definitely the place they want to have it. If they're trying to, promote it as something people want to get into, it really shows off the beauty of the game. So, of course, like I mentioned, it's going to be at Tobin Expo Center out on Microtech. And, the thing that surprised me about was the fact that over the last few years, it's always been on the newest planet. But as we talked about, I think Microtech is definitely the right answer for that. And personally, I think it's the best place to have it. Now, the trailer itself, like I said, I was blown away by it. I loved it. I've watched it probably 10 times over because I'm a huge Top Gear fan, and not Top Gear now, but Top Gear way back when. It was the only ones I consider Top Gear, which is Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, James May, and Jax McCleary is the best Jeremy Clarkson clone that you could ever see.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, and if you ever catch his out on Prime, of course you can catch Grand Tour, which is basically the same thing. But he did a farming one, which was hilarious. So check that out if you got Prime. They highlighted the Redeemer, so we definitely saw the Redeemer and the Ares Starfighter in there, which I am absolutely excited to finally get my hands on these two, especially the Redeemer. I have both Starfighters, and those are going to be fun. but I think that Redeemer, especially with the multiple multi-crew, is going to be great for an Auec vessel. Let's see. Potato noticed in PTU whenever they dropped a new patch, it consolidated all of your items into your home. Oh yeah, when they did drop a new patch, it did consolidate your inventories. So, but like I said, Redeemer, I'm looking for. Starfire is going to be interesting. We saw that highlighted in the trailer. One thing that actually J-Scale, right after I watched the trailer, J-Scale posted a message about this. He asked if we noticed anything out of place or noticed anything different. And of course I did. And I had mentioned it to him, and he pretty much confirmed that he saw the same thing. And that is basically the fact that we've got 2 ships that are not quite identified. This one here, which is an orange Argo paint, that is definitely not the back of an SRV. And trust me, I went and I checked. But it's also not anything that's out in concept right now. Now, rumors have it, and there's no confirmation. Rumors have it that this could be the MPUV raft. And I'd be definitely all for seeing MPU raft. And yeah, J-Scale rumor alert in chat. Yeah, this is completely rumor. Usually I don't like reporting rumors, but right now we're speculating on basically the visuals that they've given us, and they put these teasers in there to get people talking. Argo repair bear.
It's the Argo forklift. It's for the
There you go, Potato. There's your forklift. This is going to be it. But I think it could very well be a variant of the MPUV. It could also be God knows what else, but apparently it's going to be a straight to flyable. So we'll see whatever this is available for straight to flyable at IAE. And of course, the other thing that we saw was, and actually at first I thought it was just a ballista, but I'm not 100% sold that this was actually just a ballista. And this is the only view I was able to cut of it, because at the end of the trailer, there's actually a side view of this vehicle or a vehicle chasing after a ship. But that one, I could clearly see the missiles on the back of it, which I think that one was a ballista. But this one, I'm not sold, is because the rumor, and again, this is all rumor, don't quote me on this and don't take it for fact, but this is the other straight to flyable or drivable, and it's going to be some type of transport vehicle or combat vehicle built on a ballista chassis.
And during the Liberator, well, in the Liberator documents, the little site that they put up for the Liberator, they talked about it fitting the Atlas, the Anvil Atlas chassis, and a lot of people were speculating what that was, and I believe it is that what is it, 8 wheel chassis that the ballista is on. So I think it is another variant.
Yeah, and I got to agree with you, because when I saw this flash across the screen, I was like, what the hell is that? And then when I first got that side view at the end, I was really like, that does not look like a ballista, until I stopped and I saw the missiles on the back more clearly. But this definitely strikes me as something different, and I think that you're probably correct. And whatever it is, if it is the other one, we're going to have 2 straight to flyable drivables there at IAE that you're going to be able to get.
And they tend to put jacks in vehicles, right?
Yep.
The clips they show are usually jacks doing something around or in the new stuff.
Yeah, and the shot of it looked like a Talon come down shooting at this thing was where we first saw this, and that was shooting at Jax in whatever he was driving. If you stop and play frame by frame, you can see a little teeny tiny vehicle there moving across the terrain. You just can't make out any details on it. So
there's also a shot with Jax and the pilot, or the test pilot. I can't remember the test pilot's name.
Well, the Stig, as I call him, because that's the Top Gear name.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. So but they're both standing inside what looks like an Argo ship at one point. So
I think this is definitely going to be interesting to see. And you know what? We got the straight to flyable 400i and we got the concept Liberator at CitizenCon. If we're getting a straight to flyable Argo ship, whether it be an MPUV or another variant or something like that, I have no problem. I'm all for them doing a straight to drivable land vehicle. So I think it's definitely, nice to see. Let's see, Poe, isn't there a MISC label in that shot? I do not see a MISC label in this shot myself. I don't know if you guys see one anywhere, but I definitely don't see one.
Misk?
Yeah. Poe
No.
saying he's asking if there was a MISC label in the shot, and I don't really see one.
Not in this one or the orange one.
Yeah. I mean, unless he's talking about that little gray thing, but I think that's just a shadow at the very top there above the back tire. I think that's just a shadow. Oh, the one with the pilot.
Yeah. It is. It's Misk in the background. So I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
'Cause it's got. Yeah, it is. It says Misk down in the lower left-hand corner. I don't know if you can. It's at 32 seconds. If you scroll to it.
Well, we'll just watch the whole thing. Let's see. You said 32 seconds.
Yeah.
Was it after the ballista shot?
Yeah. It's well after.
Let's see here.
Because the pilot also is sitting in the pilot seat of a ship that doesn't look familiar to me, but I don't have all of the cockpits memorized.
There's Jax.
Yeah, keep going a little bit more. There. So he's sitting in that. I don't recognize that cockpit.
That's isn't that the consolidated?
I thought it was the Nomad, but
Well,
the door looks
look
wrong.
at the bars behind him. That looks like the Prowler interior.
Could be.
Because look
Yeah,
at the
I was thinking the
crossbars
Superior.
back
Oh,
there.
yeah.
That
Yeah, it
looks
could
like
be.
the Prowler interior.
So if you advance from here, you'll see the picture of him talking to Jax.
Oh, right there?
In the lower left-hand corner, it says
Yep.
Misk.
There's the MISC logo there, yeah. So that could definitely be interesting. I didn't notice that. Thank you, Poe. Appreciate
So
that.
at CitizenCon, John Crew was talking about a small refinery ship that we might hopefully will be seeing soon.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept saying it's a Mystery, so this could be the small refinery ship.
It could be.
Mystery. Oh my gosh, that's clever.
It very well could be, because I didn't actually pay attention to that before, because I was kind of pegged on the Argo paint and the ballista chassis. But yeah, that could definitely be something additional on that. That'll be interesting to see. But the question is, why is he hugging him? Unless he just rescued him. Because isn't the raft supposed to be search and rescue?
Yeah, I thought it was from the leaks, but who
And
knows,
if
man.
that's the raft and he did a rescue on the Stig, then, or what is the Star Citizen Stig, then that would explain why he's hugging him. But I mean, we could be reading too much into it. But yeah, that's definitely a MISC logo, and that's not an interior I recognize. That is for sure.
That could be a medical bed back there, right
Could-
behind the MISC logo.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could be. So it could be almost anything. I guess we'll find out on the 19th, or actually MISC is going to be on, of course, MISC is on 27th, so it's
Yeah.
towards the end.
Yeah.
So we'll find out at the very end of the show as to what that could be there. So
Well, and somebody was saying that the pattern is whatever the vendor, the company is that's at the first and at the last out of the days where they have the different manufacturers,
mhm.
that's where they usually peg the new ships, whether they're straight to flyable or concepts. So
Right. Well, see, the other thing though is too, this is pretty much, if I remember correctly, this is following the same order that it did at last year's IAE. Because I remember,
Okay.
no, because it wasn't last year Anvil then Aegis.
yeah,
So yeah.
and I thought Drake was at the end of last year. Maybe I'm thinking of Fleet Week.
No, Drake was no, because Drake did their own show when it was Invictus the last 2 years, so that's why they were the last. I don't remember where Drake was for IAE last year. So, but yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting, and of course that brings us to the schedule. Of course, the schedule for IAE is going to be the 19th, which is going to be Anvil. We've got 20th is going to be RSI. The 21st is Aegis. And then you got 22nd is going to be all the alien manufacturers, not including MISC because MISC is a hybrid. And then you got the 23rd is Crusader and Tumbril. The 24th is Origin. And the 25th is Argo, Greycat, Consolidated, Outland, and Kruger. 26th is going to be Drake, followed by 27th with Misk. And 28th is going to be your best in show and weapon and armors. Now, that's actually one of my favorite days because the problem I have is getting a full set of armor, finding the guns I want with the ammo at one spot. And the thing I like about that best in show and weapons and armor is down on the lower level, you can go down there. They have multiple sets of complete sets of armor, all same color. You can just buy it in complete sets. You're good to go. You don't have to run around and find different pieces in matching colors. And every gun is on display. So you can buy all the guns you want, all the ammo that you want, all the components to add to it that you want, and be set to go with one-stop shopping. Of course, now with the inventory, you're going to have to remember to get that stuff out of there. If your home place is Lorville or Bygenie or something like that, you're going to have to remember before you leave New Babbage to put it all into your ship's inventory and hope you don't blow up on the way home. But yeah, that I love that weapons and armor page. I'm definitely looking forward to since I up to a bigger package. I have a couple of CCUs I have to get back to some of my original ships. I got to pick up Corsair, got to pick up a couple of an SRV CCU to get back to ships I already had from some duplicates that I got now. But definitely interested in whatever that Argo ship is. I'm definitely keeping my eye on that. I'm probably going to move my 400i up to something else. I'm just not sure yet what it is. Maybe an Apollo. I think I would definitely like to have the Apollo. That'd be a good one to get. If I ever can beat that mini game, I can get the other one.
The medevac.
Yeah.
I think after you fail enough times, it slows down, so it's winnable.
Okay, so just keep failing, and eventually I'll get it.
Yeah, just keep trying. It takes a bit because at the very beginning it's way too fast. Like
Yeah.
you just can't. Yeah. Real quick,
Mhm.
I pulled up the 2950 IAE schedule.
Yeah.
It was Consolidated Outland Argo Greycat on day one with the Nomad.
Ah,
Then it
yeah.
then it was Aegis. Then it was Anvil. Then it was Crusader with Tumbril and Kruger with MSR.
Mhm.
Right, that's when we got the MSR in game, and then Misk, then Drake, and then the alien ships, and then Origin, and last was RSI.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So it is a completely different lineup.
But if you look at where the new ships were put in last year's schedule, it doesn't mean anything really. But if you want to play the game,
Yeah.
first out of the gate is Anvil, which they were showing possibly a new vehicle, and then Argo is in the middle where Crusader was last year, and
Yeah.
so there
So.
you go.
All right. Well, that makes sense. H3 also noted that new Game Glass Star Citizen official shards are available. So those of you that use Game Glass, those new shards are available now for that function on that. So check that out. So as far as the schedule goes, the key thing to remember is, of course, that anything you buy, you got to get out of there on that weapons and armor day. But the 29th through the 1st is going to be the finale. Now, what typically happens with the finale is you got to remember they show 2 manufacturers per day, except for the very first day. So the first day you'll get Anvil. And then when it goes to the second day, Anvil will move to the second floor and RSI will be on the first floor. So as each day goes by, they just drop down a slot, move down a floor, and then move out. Once you get to the finale, all the ships will be available for rent again. Now, when these are on display for their 2 days, you're going to be able to rent any flyable ship in the verse. So if you want to rent the entire Anvil lineup, you can rent it for no charge and fly them all that you want. And then as you go through and the manufacturers change, you can continue to get new rentals at no cost. Of course, during during the IAE, they have the largest free fly of the year. We'll be seeing a free fly most likely during the entire time period of the IAE. Very possibly we'll see, and they haven't announced anything yet, but a referral bonus is very common to have. But of course, that's up to CIG if they're going to have that. I won't be surprised to see it though. So for those of you that use your referral code and try and get it passed out along there, or you have it in the Reddit's randomizer, definitely time to start getting that out and using that again. And then get those ships, rent them. If you're not sure what you want, or if you're not sure or on the fence post as far as whether you want to pledge a ship or if you want to grind for it in game, this is time to get your hands on it without having to find somebody that has it that's willing to lend it out to you. Of course, obviously, everybody in Amarok's Fang, we're more than happy to lend out our ships to people that want to give them a try. But this is the best time to get in there, get your hands on it, try it before you or fly it before you buy it, and see if it's going to be worth that pledge for you, or if you just want to get it in game or not even interested in it at all. It's a great tool to use to really kind of, get a focus on what you want your fleet to be. But that finale, you'll be able to get them all a second time through the kiosks that are typically on the entrance in the second floor, the bottom floor of the expo hall. I'm wondering if they're going to put the F8C on display again in those center areas. It'd be definitely nice to see that again. I just wish they would let me fly mine. It'd be nice to get my hands on that, that's for sure. So let's see. All right. So the other thing that you got to remember is the second floor, bottom floor of the expo hall. Every manufacturer, they're going to have the holo viewers, so you're going to be able to see the Kraken, you're going to be able to see the Nautilus, the Polaris, the Javelin, the Vulture, all the different ships that are still in concept, the BMM, and haven't been released yet. You'll be able to catch the holo viewers for that down on the lower floor. And then, of course, like I said, it's a great time. It's good to get in there, see everything. They do beautiful displays out of New Babbage, and definitely well worth it. My plan is we will stream the first day of every new manufacturer. So we'll stream Anvil on the 19th, we'll stream RSI on the 20th, Aegis on the 21st. It may not be a full 4 or 5 hour stream each day, but we'll at least be in for a couple hours as we check out the expo halls and see what they have on display and what else is coming out, just to keep everybody up to date. So each day, rocks, yes, every day a new manufacturer will go on sale. So when Anvil goes in, Anvil ships will be on sale. What they typically have is all the ships from Anvil will be able to be pledged, whether it's be a concept or if it's flyable in game. And then what you'll also find, and they started doing this last year, at least that's the first time I noticed it, they also have large packages that consist of all the ships by that manufacturer. So yeah, on Anvil Day, expect to see an Anvil package, which will be every single Anvil ship. And it'll be a war bond price. It'll be a standalone price that will just give you every single ship there. So of course, with war bonds, remember you can't use store credit. It has to be a new purchase, but you'll be able to use store credit on other things. As far as the whole limited and capital ships, there is not a set schedule that I've seen released yet as far as what day and what time the waves are going to go through. Usually the day is the same day it releases into the expo hall. The times typically run between, I think it's like noon, then 8 p.m., and then like 8 a.m. or something like that. But it'll be 3 waves per manufacturer over both days that it's on display, that they'll open up the ability to buy the whole limited ships. So as soon as they have that, though, we'll get that information out to you guys either through YouTube or on stream. And I know that some of the most popular ones, Pioneer is usually gone in like 2 seconds. Javelin's usually gone very, very quickly. And I find that the best case to try and grab anything is usually third wave. Because if you get in that third wave, by the time you get there, the F5 war or the refresh war is over, and you get a little bit more time to get into your cart and get it bought. The only ship that I see that is not easy to get on the third wave is the Pioneer. I don't know what it is. Obviously, it's base building, but that ship seems to go faster or as fast as the Javelin. I can't explain it. So as far as IAE, what are your guys' expectations?
Well, I was just gonna say also that that lower level on each expo floor,
Mm-hmm.
where the hollow viewers are, that's also where the ground vehicles are. And
Yep.
wasn't that last year? Wasn't that where the armor was as well?
That is where they have the armor and the weapons display is down on that lower floor. I think the Tonk down there last year. I thought they put the Tonk upstairs.
I thought the Tonk was still hollow viewer.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. It was in. It was. I think it was on display at Fleet Week, but it wasn't at IE.
Yeah. Does AMF have a Pioneer? AMF is the bowling company, isn't it? Well, then again, they got their hands in everything. That I don't know. The Pioneer is actually Consolidated Outland, I believe. So is the one that makes the Pioneer. That's one I definitely eventually will get. I really want to get my hands on. You actually, I believe you or somebody in the org has one.
I do. Yeah. Comes
Oh,
with a. It comes with a state beacon, a land claim. It comes with a whole bunch of stuff.
oh, you got that package from like 2949 or 2948.
Whatever it was, I got it last year actually at the IE.
Did they have the beacon package last year?
Yeah. Well, mine
Oh,
does.
oh, okay.
I think I
Potato,
saw
that
it.
answers your question. AMF. Okay, yes. Yes, we do have org members that have the Pioneer. I still
See,
want one.
I think I saw a beacon package one on the gray market.
Yeah, because I remember my first IAE in 2949. They had the beacons on sale individually, or you could get it as the package with the Pioneer.
This guy was selling it, I think, for like $2,000 or something.
Yeah, and that includes the Pioneer itself and a certain number of beacons. And those beacons are what gives you your land claim to build your base on.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. It'd be nice to have like a Fang base.
Yeah, and I mean, from what we saw with the modular, you know, habs, it's going to be kind of interesting to see if any of that changes because it almost seemed like when they were going through the modular habs that that's what we're going to use to build bases. But with the Pioneer, it was my understanding that you have resources you have to have, and it's just going to build, halves like what you see at Rayari or down on ArcCorp 141, those type of halves for you, not the mud huts and all that.
I was wondering about was it the raster tool? That
Yeah,
that new tool that they were talking about that's allows them to kind of, mess with the ground, the terrain, and also place buildings and structures and whatnot. Um, uh, I'm wondering how that'll impact and change how they originally concepted the Pioneer. Because yeah, the Pioneer originally was designed to build those structures inside it and put them down,
yeah.
and they changed that recently. So it'll be interesting.
It will. I mean, it's a ship that definitely will be a benefit for any org to own. Maybe not so much for an individual player that's playing solo, but for an org that can build like a base of operations or a home base. And then, I think a lot of that's also going to come into, are we going to be able to set that as a spawn point? Are we going to be able to have medical facilities there if we build a hab and all that, where it could be a spawn point, so when you log in, you just log into your home base instead of a city or something.
So that would be ideal. That's something that I would really like. I mean, it would make sense that it would have all that. I feel it would be a wasted opportunity if it didn't have that.
Yeah, I mean, and plus you think now, like we get into game, we see everybody in the org or that's in our friends list, and you can right click to join them, or you can just go in under your own, and you may or may not be on the same server. But once server meshing comes in, and there's no longer a player limit, you're going to be getting on at times other members of the org are on, and from anywhere around the world, because we have people overseas, we got people you know over in Europe, we got people in the US, we got people in Canada, we got people in the Netherlands. You're going to be able to get on, and just everybody's going to be on the same server per se, and you'll be able to just log in and interact with anybody that's in the org if they're using the org base. It's not going to be a matter of trying to join up on somebody.
You could always, you could build your base and then park an Apollo with tier 1 medical beds in it for you know in case you die
Yeah.
to respawn, or have a Hope class Endeavor floating above wherever you have your base.
Oh yeah, well we have a few Hope class Endeavors. I know that because I
Yep.
got one. Has one. I think you might have one, and
Yep.
I think Yeti might have it. So we have a
Yeah.
number of those. So we could have a fleet of Endeavors right now.
Yeah. I got the master set at IAE last year, and I was going to try to get another Endeavor this year.
Yeah, I have the Hope class, which just gives you the hangar bay and the med unit.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But that Pioneer is definitely a tough one to get a hold of, and I can understand why on an org basis. But surprisingly, I never thought it would be as tough as the Javelin to get your hands on. Actually, I had more of a chance to get Javelin at the last one than I had to get the Pioneer. The Pioneer actually outsold the Javelin, which is the surprising thing. So, but yeah, anything else you guys are expecting out of that?
This is going to be my first IAE, so I'm kind of excited to see that.
Is it your first?
Yeah, I've had the game long enough. I just didn't play when last year's came around.
Really?
Yeah, the first major event thing that I was at was the Fleet Week and Invictus.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's going to be the IAE this year.
It's definitely a great time because sometimes they even have like what they had with the Invictus jacket. Sometimes they have little things like that. Of course, with IAE, we're also going to see the Best in Show paints come out. We're going to see the Argo backpack come out for everybody. So we're going to get those items when it comes in. And I am still praying I get my little mini Argo backpack that's shaped like a little Argo MPUV to put on my back. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that, but I don't think I got a hope of
Oh,
it.
speaking of which, did you mention the sub flare for November?
Oh, yes, that is correct. We do have Subflare, and that was actually one thing I meant to put up. Let me grab that because I do have a picture of it. The Subflare, which is actually I kind of like. Let's bring this up here. And we're just going to go full. So, this is going to be the Subflare for November. And this, of course, is the new, I guess this would be the Pembroke armor. And this is going to be in 3 different colors. Of course, first level subs will get 1 color. Second level subs will get 2 colors. And the third will always be available for purchase on the Pledge store, the sub store. And yes, I want to be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with the white one because that just... I don't know. There's just something about that white sharp color. I like the white armors. I don't know why. It just with the contrast with the black, they just look amazing. And you can just call me Stay Puft. If I could change my in-game gamer tag, I'll make it Stay Puft. But yeah, these are actually pretty good looking.
The masks look like the face is very confident.
And these are Pembroke, right? Not
Well, it says the
Novikov.
heat, and Pembroke is the heat armor, where the Novikov is the cold armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
So-
logo on this Pembroke. Yeah.
Yeah, so I expect that this is going to be it does look spectacular. And at first when I heard they were changing the Pembroke armor and I first saw the puffy suits, I don't know what it is about the red. It just really did not really strike me as great looking. But that white and even the yellow looks great as well too. You can be a big puffy bumblebee. So, but that is going to be your sub flare for November. So keep an eye out for that. Usually we see it at the tail end of the first week of November. And yeah, that's one thing I did forget to mention. This was actually an interesting point. Actually, Rocks, talking with Rocks the other day, because they opened PTU for all backers. And this kind of goes back to the 315 PTU. But one thing we actually found out, people who get a starter pack gifted to them do not get access to the PTU at any time.
What?
Yeah, that's what I said at first. And
Interesting.
actually, I got on a call with Rock, and he was kind enough to let me give him a call and talk to him. But he actually looked into it because he tried to get into PTU when it opened for all backers. And if you guys know, and I think you guys were on stream or were at least watching, Rocks is a sub on Twitch, and he was trying to get into the game, hadn't gotten into the game yet. So I gifted him a starter pack. You know, we bought him a starter pack that night on stream, and we sent it over to him, and he got into the game. Well, now that PT is open for all backers, he tried to download, copy his account over and all that and get access. And he did not get access. And when he did some research going through the FAQs on the RSI site, it actually, he found the FAQ that stated, and I don't have a copy of it, but he found the FAQ that stated that if you have a gifted starter pack, you do not have access to all backer PTU. So apparently, if you've been gifted, and we gifted out a number of starter packs on one of our streams in the last couple of weeks. So, I want to first apologize to Rox that, because I gifted it to him, he doesn't have access, because I would love to have him have access and get him to play with us. Because right now all our stream time is in PTU. But we gifted out a couple of starter packs to some other people on our subathon. And I apologize to them that it does not get them access to the PTU. Unfortunately, there's no ifs, ands, or buts or ways around it. But yeah, that was a new one for me that I've never heard of before.
Yeah, that's strange. You would think that they would want them there.
You would think they would, and you would think that a starter pack is a starter pack. Who cares who paid for it? They have it.
Right.
And the only thing I can figure is maybe it's because they don't have a credit card on file or something along those lines. I don't know. But I mean, it's one thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way with the fact that, these guys are just as big of players as anybody else. It doesn't matter, who knows if they got it for Christmas, they got it for their birthday, they got it as an anniversary gift, or they won it like what Rox did with us. Why are we excluding them just because they got a gift? I mean, they're no less important of a player than I am, or Board Gamer is, or Morph. They play just as much as anybody else. So I thought that could just really rub me the wrong way.
I wonder if it's one of those quirky things that they didn't realize was broken, and nobody really brings it up because
Oh, I think if it's a known enough issue that they have an FAQ stating the fact that, yes, this is not going to be something available to you, that they know about it, and they know it's an issue, and they don't seem to have any plan on fixing it.
Oh, it is in an FAQ then.
Yeah, it's in a RSI FAQ on the website.
Oh wow, sorry, I missed that part.
Yeah, so it's not anything that they're not aware of. It seems as though that's pretty much intended to be that way, which I think is it's not right. I mean, I can't say I fully agree with everything CIG does or anything like that, and this is definitely one thing I don't agree with. But I'm not gonna say that they're evil and corporate, all that crap. But it is something I wish that it would get some attention, give these people access. Louis, thank you very much for the cheer. I appreciate that. So, but he says, wouldn't it be able to melt the pack and rebuy with store credit? I did recommend that when I was talking with Rox, and it is a possible solution, though there's no way to, test it. And, definitely it would be worth a try, because obviously a gift you can melt and use that credit towards anything, and it may assist. But if you melt it and use the credit towards something, if it's because of the fact there's no credit card on file, it's not going to resolve the fact there's no credit card on file, so it may not resolve it. Now, I know when speaking with Rox, and he's been really cool about it. He's fully understanding and really cool guy. I give him credit and kudos out to him for being understanding. He's planning on getting some ships at IAE anyways. So, definitely that should probably resolve it if he pledges something at IAE, or even if he melts it at that time, buys a starter pack, and then uses that credit towards whatever he's trying to buy at IAE. So, but my kudos out to Rocks for understanding. I appreciate that. I just I wish they would do something about changing that, because they're just as important players as anybody else out there. And Bright says he's been working with Rocks a lot, trying to help as best he can. I appreciate that. And that's the great thing about the org. You know, everybody from Amarok's Fang bends over backwards to help each other out, whether they're part of the org or not. So it's great to see the community coming together to help each other out. So I'm off my soapbox now. So, Mystery, anything coming up on your channel that you'd like to plug?
No, not really. I mean, I'm currently putting together a video now to kind of go over APR financing when it comes to credit cards. A lot of people aren't too familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of give them an overview. I think that would be great. That should be coming up in the next couple days.
Oh, that's cool. Any plans for expansion? Are you looking at doing streaming or anything like that?
I did streaming for a little bit with Games a while last year, and job situation, stuff like that, wasn't able to really keep up. I thought about moving forward. I'm kind of waiting to see just if the channel grows a little bit, if there's more of a community, as opposed to just like jumping back into the streaming aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely in the future.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for that, and definitely, I'm sure we're going to have you on here again more times in the future. So, anytime you're on, feel free to plug away anything you got going on, and don't forget to use that self promotion channel in the Discord.
Will
So,
do.
and then, of course, that brings us to the end of the show. Cryogenics, thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. And definitely, I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening, and hopefully you found the information useful. We will also be posting this over on YouTube as we usually do on Sunday evening. So if you're over on YouTube, you'll definitely be able to catch any portions that you missed this evening, or check out the videos here on Twitch. And don't forget, with our YouTube, we actually have the memberships have all been reduced to starting at 99 cents now. So that also includes the ability to get in on our monthly private stream, where our YouTube members can get in and basically get in to stream with us and play privately. We'll stream it over to YouTube. We also have the same thing with Twitch with our subs, that if you sub on Twitch, you'll get linked directly to my personal Discord. And monthly we'll have a Twitch sub private stream. The only thing you have to do here on Twitch, it won't give you the link to the Discord, but if you link your Twitch to your Discord, it will automatically put you into my personal server. And we'll be doing that on a monthly basis, one day for YouTube, one day for Twitch. And I think that'll be great to be able to get in game and play with everybody. Also, don't forget, it also gives you access to the Discord, where you can actually contact me at any time that you want. Hit me up with questions or anything like that. And, you know, we can even get you guys in at different times, maybe on some of our Amarok's Fang streams. Louis says, wonder whose idea that was. Clear. Actually, Louis, Horse and Bacon came up with that idea. You just helped me make it happen. And I appreciate that, Louis. You sent me the information to be able to get those Twitch accounts automatically linked. Louis is one of our original Amarok's Fang members, and a great help when it comes to some of the things I'm not familiar with. But also, don't forget, this is the last, actually probably about 24 hours, you can get your entries in for our 400i giveaway. We're giving away a 400i with LTI and all the paints from CitizenCon. And to get your entries in, follow here on Twitch, or you can go over to YouTube, subscribe, and leave a comment on any video over there. And if you do both, you're going to get 2 entries and double your chances. And we'll be drawing the winner on November 1st, and be sending that out. And keep an eye on your whispers as well as your YouTube notifications, because that's how we'll reach out. We can wait 48 hours. After 48 hours, if we don't hear back from the winner, then we will have to pick an alternate winner. But that 400i, this is your last about 24 hours to get your entries in for that. And again, I just want to thank everybody for all the support. I hope you found the program useful, and this actually went smoother than I thought for the first time we went live. And we will continue to do so every Saturday night. Probably launching at 8 o'clock. Now that we've kind of got the first one out, we'll probably be launching at 8 o'clock every night for an update as it goes. So thank you for everybody. Thank you for everybody in chat. You guys have a great night,
And be safe out there.
Toodles.
Yes, there's our
Toodles.
toodles. Okay, I swear that clip is going to start at some point. Helps if I hit play. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put music. See, I told you they were going to be bungling tonight.